Him. No other film this year had a concept I was so looking forward to, an American football horror story. The concept is ripe with unexplored potential and possible conflict. Story-wise, Him is about rising quarterback Cameron Cade.
I want to be the GOAT.
After he suffers from a serious head injury which may result in the end of his career before it's even begun, caused by an unhinged fan. Following this, he is offered by his hero and definitive GOAT, Isaiah White, to train his isolated compound in what looks to be the middle of nowhere. Then, as this is a horror movie, craziness ensues. The story doesn't matter so much, which is a bit of a letdown. On paper, it looks like it could tackle themes of how huge icons in televised sport are forced to continue cycles of brutal violence against each other and themselves, causing long-lasting damage to their bodies and brains. It could also tackle fan culture, obsession, sacrifice, and societal reliance on violence.
In this game, violence is rewarded, so learn to enjoy it.
Which, don't get me wrong, Him does attempt to discuss these themes, but they are put on the back burner in favour of maintaining a quote-unquote horror tone with paramount emphasis on the vibes, the atmosphere. And, to be honest, that is where this movie thrives. It is not anywhere near the elevated horror of the late 2010s into early 2020s horror films led by Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, and producer of Him, not director, not writer, Jordan Peele. Particularly in the final act, Justin Tipping with his cast and crew are clearly more interested in the spectacle of the movie. The outwardly horror imagery is what is at the forefront. Take the shot from the trailer which sold me on the film, the headbutt between Cameron Cade and the other ball player. Especially the use of VFX here, where the X-ray vision is the brains jiggle like jelly, where you can see the nerve endings. It is a memorable visual image, it's hard to shake. The film is full of these, especially as it builds into its explosive third act. I also think that Marlon Wayans as Isaiah White is certainly doing something. Compounding on what I stated in the prior paragraph, Wayans' performance is a finger on the pulse of what is required from him, a rightfully memorable horror antagonist, even without depth. His scene stuck with me. May I clarify, it isn't a coherent performance. It is a roller coaster, with high highs and middling lows, but the gap is discernible, switching up between scenes as if on a whim. Sometimes he's excessively insane and abrasive, hamming things up for the more camp, violent horror sequences. In others, he's more down to earth, but there isn't enough of a progression between point A to point B, which makes it more jarring. On a scene-to-scene level, it is wickedly entertaining. Yet, it is what the script demands of him. Wayans has a dramatic presence, which is great at putting the audience in a state of unease. He is, undoubtedly, the most entertaining aspect of the movie. The other half of the central protagonist-antagonist dynamic is Tyreek Withers as Cameron Cade, the aforementioned rising football star. I've been waiting for Withers to have a sizable role in the movie since I saw him in the Atlanta episode Rich Wigger Poor Wigger, which I believe to be the best episode of that show, which does not focus on the main cast. And he is okay in this one. He's alright. The character is more mellow and unassuming for the most part, which again is more of a script issue. Like Wayans, he does have physical presence, which amplifies the visual imagery that Tipping and company succeeded in capturing. There's a little issue I had with the movie. Him is frequently constructed through music video style editing. I don't really understand what the point is meant to be, considering much of the runtime is spent in montage. Scenes move by quickly in a flash of images, disconnecting me as an audience member from the characters, as I don't really get the time to breathe. Montages are okay in small doses. Emphasis on small. Him forgets that. Cool music video vibes, not so much in a full feature film. At its core, Him follows in the footsteps of a series of recent horror movies. The most noticeable, to me, was Opus. Opus isn't perfect, but has mostly the same problems and bits I liked. Shabbily handled script, excessive performance from an older actor in the role of the antagonist, mostly single location narrative, the list goes on. However, I find that Opus is one hell of a final scene for the kind of film that it mostly was, the Hannibal Lecter Clarice Starling-esque one-on-one dialogue scene between Ayo Dabiri's Ariel and the legendary John Malkovich's Alfred Moretti. Him, sadly, does not have such a scene. That is the burden of the, minor but easy to piece together spoilers, contemporary cult movie. To me, Him is one of the rare movies where I believe a remake, parentheses, loose, may be warranted. I'm not entirely for remaking movies constantly, we have far too many, but the concept is simply just too good to be wasted on only this movie. Not immediately, that'd be a bit excessive, but a few years down the line, I won't be opposed to studios taking another shot at this. Thus, when it's all said and done, I think Him is painfully average. Born of an immaculate concept, it discards much of it in favour of those beautiful moments within scenes, rather than the series of scenes it should be. I don't actively dislike it, but even calling it just good feels like a stretch too far. Watch if you're a horror fanatic afraid of missing out, or if you just want cool images, but it's not nearly at the level I would recommend. Him? 2.5 stars. Well, that's all. Keep on watching movies, and form your own opinions. See you in the next one.